Okay, so living by faith, what does it mean? I think I really don't know. And I think that I'm really going to be learning until like my last breath. But I do remember this one story about before I went to Africa the first time. You know, I grew up in the Christian church, and there's a lot of talk about faith in the Christian church and how to live. And you're taught all the stories of the Bible, which are really crazy, amazing stories, like, God telling an army to walk around a city 6 times, and then on the 7th time, make a lot of noise, and then the walls fell down, And then God tells this military leader, this leader of Israel, to gather all the men and the troops. And he's got a lot of men standing there, and God tells him to ask the troops who is afraid, and tells Gideon that whoever is afraid to send them home, and then to send whoever else drinks out of the brook a certain way home. And so Gideon is left with this tiny army to fight this huge battle, and these things make absolutely no sense. And so, but somehow that living by faith didn't make its way from my head to my heart, and when it's stuck up here, no good comes from faith. Nothing good comes from faith, I don't think. But there was a time in my life, and I think it was that night that I talked about in a couple other videos, when Jesus really showed up to me, and I think faith started moving from my head down to my heart, and I remember that night. Before I left to go to Africa the first time, and I was scared, and I was scared for my husband and my little girl who I was leaving, and I was really questioning, am I actually going to come back? And in my heart, I really felt like I wasn't. And in the kitchen that night, I looked up and I just said, God, I'm not coming back, am I? And his words to me, in my head and also in my heart, were, with me, all things are possible. And for some reason, that really calmed me down. And the next day I left for Africa, and obviously I made it back fine. But I think what I learned from the experience is that living by faith has nothing to do with knowing what's going to happen if you follow the Spirit of God. I think it's Hebrews 11, it talks about all these people who live by faith, and all these people that good things happen to that live by faith. But then there's a whole big long paragraph of all these people that, one was sawed in two and the other killed by the sword, and others having to live the rest of their days out, being exiled in the wilderness and not welcome anywhere. And all these bad things happen to all these other people who live by faith. And these people are so dear to God's heart. And so I guess to me, I learned that living by faith just has nothing to do with knowing the outcome. God told my heart, you need to go to Africa. There's a work I want you to do there. You have to go. And I didn't know anything really other than that, except it was so strong in my heart that I had to follow and do it. And no matter what happened. So I think that living by faith, that's one of the things about it that I learned. And also, when faith moves from the head to the heart, that's when things start changing. So I think living by faith is a really scary thing. It's really, it's like walking into the unknown. I think God is that great unknown. He's unsearchable, and you just keep learning more and more of Him and what living by faith is as you live, just like the saints of old. So that's a little bit of what I've learned about what living by faith might be.